we will go to Mr. Andrea Marchesani. He is a special advisor of the Order of Malta, the member of the Migrants and Refugees section, and integral human development dicastery of the Holy See. You have the floor.
Many thanks, Sister Miriam. Good evening to everyone. It's a pleasure for me to intervene tonight, this afternoon, in my capacity as head of research of the Migrants and Refugees section of the Holy See. And my duty today is to link. I would like to thank Michelle for the invitation, all the other speakers, and the Order of Malta. And my duties today is to intervene and to talk about the decent labor, and allow me to use the word that in English all the popes used in all the documents in every social document of the church, and they use labor to talk about decent labor. And let me connect it to the pastoral orientation on human trafficking that the section designed and wrote a couple of years ago with the collaboration of many of you that were present in Sacrofano at the consultation and at the conference. And so to start, I will start from the very beginning, and so from the Genesis, where we can find the creation, and we find work, we find labor in the creation, and the creation itself is the labor, is the work of God. And during creation, God entrusted the care and the cultivation of earth to the creatures. So here we have the first factor, the first data, that the creation, the work, is not an absolute dominion of man over creation, but it respects the will of God and the other creatures. So work, labor cannot be an idol, cannot be a dominion, and this is the point of the original sin and of the dominion, is the exploitation of others, of the other creatures and of creation, just to stay connected to the Laudato And another interesting thing is that the Sabbath rest, the rest that God has at the end of creation, is not just the worship of the creation, but for the creatures is the worship of God itself, and is the Catholic social teaching defines the rest as a defense of the poor. And if we go later in the books of the Judges and Deuteronomy, we find that the one of the sins, as the Pope Saint Pius X defined, one of the sins that cry to heaven is the injustice to the wage earner. And the Gaudium et Spes, that is the Apostolic Constitution of Paul VI, say that a wage should enable workers and their families to live above the poverty line, to have a time for rest, and to enjoy life, to enjoy normal life, and to provide education and resources that are enough and sufficient for the family. So after this, we can say that indecent labor is slavery, and as Brian was saying before, we can talk about many structures, we can talk about the system, but the point is one. The principal point is the original sin. So the exploitation, the dominion over the other creatures, and and from this, the structures that the Catholic social teaching defines as a structure of sin create social and economic exclusion, and so we have an economic system that allow primacy of things over man, the priority of capital over labor and money, the technology as an end and not as a mean. And so we have all these as consequences. So this is a structure of sin, and this is the problem, and this is a problem that perpetuates without any obstacle, because it's a system that treat men, the people, as mere commodities for the self-interest of others. And so Brian said before, we have to identify a culture that's responsible for, and this could be the throwaway culture that the Pope quote many times, a culture of waste that is against the centrality of human person, the centrality of human person in the system. So the economic system, the political system, is at the service of man and not in the opposite way. And today we assist as well to in the modern era, we assist at the diversion of capitals from the real economy. And when this is excessive and there is an excessive accumulation, people are excluded, and work is an instrument and money is an end for few. So going back to the demand aspects, every one of us is a consumer and we are all involved. The Pope, I was in Geneva at the time with Michel, and the Pope said that we are all responsible for the death of people, for the exclusion of people, because we are part of this, and the common good can be reached if everyone is included, the integral human development of everyone is contemplated. So we are all parts of this, and we have the benefits of this system, a system that is involved in a conspiracy of silence for profit. And this is not far from us. It's not in big businesses, just in the Democratic Republic of Congo, very far from us, but is in our houses and in well-regarded businesses. So what I mean is, business is not connected to human trafficking or to slavery in this case, but is the place where it takes places. And every time there is where there are people that are mobbed, coerced, or in dire condition or dehumanizing condition, we have slavery and indecent work. So the competition in markets and the cutting of labor costs leave no choice to people to accept work in dire conditions. And with regards to consumers, Benedict XVI remembers us that in Caritas Veritate encyclical, that the purchase, the buying something, is not just an economic act, but is a moral act with a specific social responsibility. And so what we can do, what can be the cure to this, is the first is the education, the culture, and must start from the beginning. Is not easy. And the second one is the business ethical assessment, because many times we hear about corporate social responsibility, but many times it's part of marketing of public relation of a company, and is not effective, and they still look only to efficiency. That is a different thing. And we change paradigm. We have to change paradigm, and this is what the social teaching of the church arrived after the industrial revolution, assisting to the condition of workers all around the world, and try to say something about, like, co-participation, a control on the market, on the system, but of course a free initiatives, but together, not one or the other one alone. Another thing that is a duty of, I can speak for the church, is the evangelization and the pastoral accompaniment of workers in the unions, the work of the church in unions, and also in federation of employers. And a fifth element could be the family defense, because the family is a filter to the system, is the first cell of community, and allow people to filter the system, the economic system, the cultural system, very well spread in this time with the globalization as a globalization of indifference. And this is the first weapon we must enhance and support. So more a community is fragmented, more human trafficking and slavery is possible. The individualism can grow without any obstacle, and people are not defended by the community or by family. For instance, we have indecent work, indecent labor and slavery are not very far from us, as I said, but also in very well regarded businesses where young professionals arrived. Sometimes they finish to work very late. They don't have a life. But if they don't do that, they cannot grow. They cannot grow professionally. They have mobbed and coerced by employers. So I would like to add that slavery and indecent labor sometimes is also on voluntary basis and not only on coercion. And another thing I would like to highlight is in this time of pandemic, where technology was so invasive in our life, in our work life. Technology disfigures and can disfigure work, and smart working creates strange dynamics even in decent workplaces before. And so I would like just to conclude with Saint Thomas that labor is just not a thing to I find the quotation here. I lost it. It's not just to earn money, but is part of the very nature of man. The labor is a good thing for man, a good thing for humanity, because man with work not only transform nature, adapting it to its own needs, but he also achieves fulfillment as a human being, and indeed, in a sense, become a more human being. Decent labor is a requirement for the achievement of the common good. Many thanks.